Who am I, and what shall be the sign? So she answered him, bending down, a lambent flame of blue, all touching, all penetrant, her lovely hands upon the black earth, and her lithe body arched for love, and her soft feet not hurting the little flowers. Thou knowest, and the sign shall be my ecstasy, the consciousness of the continuity of existence, the omnipresence of my body. This video contains quotes read by myself in the rain from the book Aromagick by Diti Morgan, 2024, published by Magick of Oxford. Okay, welcome to the Broderick Wallace YouTube channel, and just so happens that this video, timed for release on Halloween 2024, is actually the 5-year anniversary of the YouTube channel. So what a wonderful way to celebrate an exclusive interview with Diti Morgan here. Let me just find the right page in my diary. I consider Diti a friend and a mentor, a lady that I deeply respect. The olfactory bulb recognizes smells as part of the limbic system, whose function is to process and regulate emotions and memory while also dealing with sexual stimulation, learning, behavior, and motivation. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Very good.
Okay, we're not going to muck around, we're just going to dive straight in with the first question. And that is, moving straight into the meaning of the word that you have coined for your book title, Aromagick. How is the sense of smell a key component of spiritual initiation in the system that you have lived and formulated?
Okay. I think a sense of smell, aromatic and smell and sense are key in every system, magical system, in every walks of life anyway, because we are surrounded by smell and sense. And before we get into the Aromagick, let's talk about how we perceive the aromas around us, because it's quite the uniqueness of it. It's quite magical on its own. We've got 5 senses: taste, touch, hearing, sight, and smell. All the 4 senses, we perceive. It takes our brain about a few splits of a second to actually register them in our body. When we see something, It takes a little bit for our mind to register it. The same with the hearing, the same with touch, the same with taste. However, when we smell something, as soon as the aroma molecules touch our brain, our nose, immediately they transfer to the nasal cavity, to the hair, and they land the, what you call, the olfactory bulb, which sits in the brain center, which is responsible of our emotions, our behavior patterns, learnings, and dreamings, and memory. So immediately that we smell something, it's as soon as it's registered in ourself, in our brain, that we smell something, and it always triggers something. Not always, but usually. For instance, when sometimes you smell something and it immediately reminds you of your grandmother's house, or you smell a perfume in the street and you think, oh God, I used to wear it when I was 15 years old, or something like that. So it's the smell, the aromas on their own are kind of magical, create some kind of transform us immediately to this kind of different state of consciousness, if you like, just by memory, or triggering some kind of emotion, or feeling, or make us act in a certain way. Imagine if we smell something really, really bad, we immediately react upon it. Or if we smell something really, really good, we feel with happiness or something like that. So that's how the sense of smell affecting us. And when I studied aromatherapy, which was like nearly 30 years ago now, so all through the years, practicing it and working with essential oils and working with scents, and in the last few years with perfumes and stuff like that, I realized that the more I experiment with blending and mixing smells together, something happens. And it sounds something like some kind of shift in consciousness happen. It's like a transfer. If I blend a couple of scents together, which I know what they're supposed to do, I'm not necessarily know how they react. But when you get the formula together, but till you actually put it together and smell it, only then you can feel the transformation. Now, it's very subtle. It's not a psychedelic experience. It's not gonna give you hallucination, but usually the magic happens when we smell something, and later on, which is designed to create a certain how do I say it? For instance, I make a blend for black magic Sabbath, and I will talk more about the actual scent of the black magic in my presentation later. But so I know that this particular scent, I put together a few scents to create a sense of underground kind of resurrection and underworldly kind of effects, and taking us to ancient time and ancient places. And then I smell it or apply it to myself. Then later on, it will probably affect me in the dream, or affect it will come as an insight later, something that we're thinking suddenly, we thought about it suddenly become clear. I don't know. So there's that's sort of the magic of the scents. When I work with them, the more I get familiar with the actual scents. As I work with essential oils mainly, I realized that some kind of magic happen. It's like a shift in consciousness can happen, and that's the magical thing through smells itself. And that's where I thought that's the magic of the aromas. Now, it's even more profound when you do all this experimenting with scents via rituals or via meditations. Then the shift is still subtle, but like any type of ritual that you set the whole atmosphere towards something. If you put the right scent that that correspond with the atmosphere, with the ritual itself, or with the type of meditation, you can really, the scent itself, the aroma can really send you there, can really transform you there, takes you there. So that's the aroma magic, basically.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, great answer. And I'm sure many people can relate on suddenly a smell. And that album that I was listening to in 1997, and I was dating this particular person. I remember my boss was on my case, and all these things, like, tens of them just flooding in instantly.
Exactly.
It's a very powerful thing. Okay, yeah. We'll move on to the next question. Concerning the oils, actually, what is the difference between essential and absolute oils, and how do you source your own creations?
Okay. Basically, essential oil and absolute in very, very generic thing are similar. Same thing. It's different of the method of extracting them. When we use essential oil, the general oils that will be essential oils. They will be plants. We extract them from plants. It's a liquid form of volatile aromatics that in the plant, and we extract essential oil. We extract through distillation, usually steam or water distillation, and there's some other method called cold press and a few other modern ones, which we're not going to get into it. So essential oil, it's nearly not all plants, but plants who have essential oils will be extracted from nearly all parts of the plant: the leaf, the flowers, the fruit, the bark, the branches, everything. And this will be through, as I said, steam distillation or water distillation. Absolute usually come from much more delicate flowers. You can think of rose and jasmine, ylang ylang, there's few other, and they're that if you put them through distillation, you will ruin the compounds of the aromatic compounds in them. So we use a different method to extract the aromatic molecule, and this is through through solvent, or what we call enfleurage, which is you put the flowers absolute are usually from the flowers actually, and you put them through a solvent, and you soak them in the material for a long time, and then you kind of scrape them, and the solvent itself soaked all the aromatic molecule into it, and then that's what we use. Absolute is a much finer process, and it's much more delicate process, and not many plant, and the flowers that we use for it's a highly concentrate, much more than the essential oils, so they're usually much more expensive as well. So it's basically same thing, but different type of distillation. Absolute are highly stronger. I don't know if the smell, because if you can say it's stronger in smell, but the concentration of the aromatic in them will be strong, will be bigger, larger. I don't know. What was the rest
Sure,
of the question?
I have sampled your rose absolute oil, and it was
Yeah.
extremely pungent, and it had a sense of realness to it.
Is it?
I could sense the difference. Yeah.
Well, it is real. Essential oils or absolute is what I refer to them as the DNA of the plant. It's literally the life source of the plant in a bottle, and you can smell them as they are, but we have to extract them. So the absolute will be much more stronger in smell. And same with the essential oil can be stronger smell. It depends what plant you use, but it's a different type of extract, basically. What was the rest of the question? Remind me.
How do you source your own creations?
Well, nowadays you can get essential oil or absolute online everywhere, basically. You do need to know what you get, really. I do. I'm sure most people who are attracted to this part of work know what they want. So it's really easy. Shops in the UK that I like. There's the shop in Glastonbury, Starchild, which I really like. They have some kind of you'll find some kind of what we call specialist oil, something that you might not find online. They do have an online you call it shop, but it's really you can find really you just write essential oil, lavender essential oil, and on Google, and tons of tons of
You have
links
to
of
be
shops coming
you have
to.
to be careful as well. You have to be really careful. I know if I get an oil from you, it's going to be great. I know if I just type into eBay, you know, whatever I want, and it's like £5. I've bought one before. It had no smell whatsoever. Just no smell at all.
Well, that's what I said. You do, well, thank you first. I do use. I do try to use when I can. This is my work, so all the time. The highest quality I can find. I buy in bulks in kind of bigger quantities, so I buy from different kind of companies, which probably will not sell for you. But as I said, if you want to be sure, as a star child, I like it. And it's yacht. I've got very good oils for for on off the shelf, for the every day you can just walk and buy whatever for what they are. They're very good qualities. I have no problem walking with them if I have to. I probably still have some around as well. Can't remember other name, but really, if you really don't know anything, I think it's best to have watch the top companies in the UK and think. Now, if they too cheap, some oils will be cheap because some oils are not expensive. But if they're too cheap, I would think twice, But it depends, and I think it's just compare.
I think it was a £5. What was it? Is it wormwood? I think it was. It had no aroma whatsoever. Straight in the bin.
So wormwood, it's kind of slightly different type of oil. It's, the £5 for wormwood essential oil. I would say it's not the right thing. Wormwood will be usually an extract, which is more like a herbalist, not essential oil, which is like a different thing altogether. And it's about the oil, not about the smell. So I don't know what we're talking about. So brand, but essential oils have to have percent. Another one, the first test that as an aromatherapist that you learn how to check your oils. and whatever they cost, it's by your smell. If you smell something, now, if you smell something and it doesn't smell right to you, like it's old or moldy or whatever, I don't know, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not right. Some oils you will not like. Some oils, not all the oil smells nice, but you can tell if they're right or wrong by if they smell chemicals, for instance. They shouldn't, because they're natural. And there are chemicals oil, but not essential oil. Essential oils will be natural. They have to be natural, they have to be, I don't remember what they call 100%, they call them 100% natural or something like that. But it's a very, very big market, and there's lots of fakes around, and there's lots of very poor qualities around. So you do need to check, you do need to find, ask for recommendation and stuff like that. Yeah, I can always guide you if you need,
Oh, definitely. And I mean, if we are talking about subtle influences, I mean, the very person that you buy the oil from, if they have labored over it, if they care about it, if it means something to them, surely it's going to have some impression of the household that it comes from. That would be my opinion anyway. It was if you were to source your oils from a practitioner, it would come with the vibe of the practitioner, even if that is mostly psychological for the buyer. It's still something that works for me anyway.
Yeah. I would buy essential oil from companies that are aromatherapy companies. It's pointless to buy essential oil from in the corner shop, I think. But you never know. Sometimes they'll have the right stuff.
Yeah, I did get a oh god, what's the name? I got a wonderful myrrh from the pharmacy recently. The first time I ever smelt myrrh, for some reason it just conjured up revelations from the Bible. For some reason it reminded me of that, reading that as a young boy. But anyway, we shall move on to question 3. Quoted from your book. Definition: I use the word essence as a reference to the sentient consciousness of essential oils. Can you elaborate on this?
Yeah, I think most people that work with plants closely, which I'm think aromatherapists, herbalists, even gardeners and people who actually work, botanics, many people who work with plants closely and experiment with them will probably agree with me that plants have some kind of form of sentient. They have some kind of, I cannot explain it, but they're like, well, we know that plants are living things because they are alive and they're living, but they have some kind of understanding. I don't know how to explain it. Don't want to somebody catch me saying things, and anyway, but there are some form of sentient being, I would say. So
ayahuasca as an example. I mean, anyone that's done ayahuasca knows that the plant has intelligence, as an extreme example.
there you go. Yeah. So it's not just ayahuasca. That will be just plants, like simple plants, like your rose in the garden, or even your daisy on the grass. It's just how you connect with it.
Absolutely, they're all alive, and I like the idea. This is completely off the subject, but if one was collecting plants or flowers for various operations or whatever, giving some, if you pick a flower, just pour some water to the main plants to say thanks. Just a very simple gesture, even if it seems a little bit airy fairy. It's a respect for the consciousness of the plant.
It's not
Have you
very
read-
sorry,
Yeah.
it's not very fairy at all. You see, my aromatherapy teacher, Sheila Brooke, rest in peace, she died many years ago. She was very adamant for us. Every time we open a bottle, she said, come to it with respect, with intention, with think about it as she used to call them, think about it like a genie in the bottle. You think before you open it. Think what you want from it, and think how it can help you, and even more, think what you want from it. And so that's essential oils, but which are which is the concentrate of the living plant in a bottle. But even flowers in your vase, I like buy lilies. Why lilies? Because the smell is very strong. So every time I go in the room and they bloom, they talk to me, they smell, I can tell, and you can, so in my book, in the section about rose, if you I don't know if you remember, I talk about experience that I had myself. I've been experimenting with the essence of rose, and I overdid it. Now this is not ayahuasca. This is just a rose, but the effect was so high, so deep on me that it started sending me sort of messages that I could see it. Now it sounds completely crazy. And I thought I was crazy, but when we discussed it with my teacher, and apparently it does help, it does happen to people who work with plants. They communicate with you, but it's so subtle that you need to understand. You need to read the signs, basically.
Oh, definitely. And I've had this experience anyway since, working with yourself in the Morgan Witches. So I'm saying, hey, yeah, it's happened to me too. So absolutely. Just have you read a book called The Way of Weird?
Yeah, that's
Do you
years and
remember?
years.
Yeah. Do you remember that part where I can't remember his name right. It's on the tip of my brain, but the sorcerer in the book is like stalking these plants. He's jumping up on them from behind in the night and like cutting them quickly because he's afraid of them. I don't know if you remember that part, but yeah, that sort of comes to mind at this moment. But anyway, we should. Oh,
I don't remember that. I read this book probably more than 20 years ago, probably more than 30. I don't remember this particular part, but it makes sense. And that's what I'm saying. You need to respect, because if you, in some witches, you require certain plants. If you want to make a wand, you will have to go to a plant, to a tree, and cut a piece of a branch or whatever. But you need to be conscious about it. You need to ask permission. You need to be thankful after that. Maybe the tree doesn't want to give you permission. Maybe he said, no, you're not allowed. I don't want to give you a one. It's not, no. But that's what I'm saying. You need to read the signs. You need to be very, very tuned to what the plants tell you, what the tree, what the flower, what they say. And back to ayahuasca. Ayahuasca definitely is one plant that teach you how to listen to these things. And same with I learned this through working with essential oils. That's how I've learned it. I've been doing it since I was 25, and yeah, it's a learning process to respect plants and think about them.
absolutely. Yeah. The consciousness of plants are to be respected. And I remember the guy's name, by the way. It's Wolf from The Way of Weird. The sorcerer is called Wolf.
Read it again. Really, really good book. It's probably one of the first book I read when I went on this kind of path, but it was like literally years and years and years.
Yeah, same here, actually. Same here. And it was one of those books that comes along with many synchronicities. I still have, you're still my mate, Neil. Me and my friend Neil, we emulated the characters in the books, and we were both reading the book at the same time. This is weird. This is like us.
The way of the weird.
Yeah, the way of weird, literally.
I dedicated a big chunk of my studies to learning about the Kala sequence, Kala meaning part, perhaps lunar perfume or flower. The Hindu erotic texts, for instance, the Ananga Ranga, play of the bodiless one, seem to use a system based on the 30-day lunar cycle. Each Kala represents the daily phase of the moon and part of our body. The concept of lunar perfume is speculative and from Kenneth Grant's Outside the Circles of Time, so you won't find it listed in any dictionary.
Okay, on with question 4. We will get to the 8 witches' Sabbaths soon, but first, could you please give an encapsulation of the moon phases and the Kala sequence you have outlined? And obviously, I'll put some diagrams on the screen as well as you're talking.
Okay, I think best to start with what are the colors, because people, it's a very, very niche and kind of subject I took on. The colors are lunar tantric death entities or divinities. It helped me to think about as the spirits of the moon or even fairies. We can you can think of them as the tantric equivalent of fairies that we know here. Then different mythology, different practice, but same kind of, again, the word essence, the same kind of this kind of divinity spirits that they are walking, they are part of the moon cycle, they are part of the moon, or they are the moon, or, well, that's the mystery. Anyway, there are 32 colors which are divided into 2 sequences, the light sequence and the dark sequence. The light sequence called the Shakti sequence, and this is the sequence between the new moon till the full moon. The dark sequence called the Kali sequence, and it's between the full moon to the new moon. We have the cycle of the moon. It takes about 28 to 31 days, it depends, and we usually understand the phases of the moon as the 4 cardinal phases, which is the new moon, waxing moon, full moon, and waning. But there's other days on the moon, nights on, so each color represent another the phase, another little phase of the moon. Literally every day, from the new moon, it takes nearly two weeks to get to the full moon. So each color has their own little phase on the moon. And I think the best way for me to understand it when I was learning it is to think about the hands of the clock. The big hand is like the symbol, the marks, the hours are like the 4 cardinal colors. The new moon, the waxing moon, the full moon, and the waning moon. Then you got the little hand that marks the seconds. These are the rest of the colors going, like, moving every day, and to a slight different phase. The phase is changing every day. Now, color, the meaning of the word itself is its part, usually related to time. It could also mean flowers or the perfume. So that's the color. What was the rest of the question? Sorry.
Oh no, that was it. And I believe they relate to body parts, or is that more speculative?
It is, but I'm not gonna get into it because it's a whole.
Oh, definitely. And of course, you have to save, many
my
things for the book. Save it
I
for the reader.
I work with the color, and there is a way to work with it but to simplify it or make it more. I find it for myself, my personal journey is easier to relate to the color with the phase of the moon. You could do it with the body part. There is a body part. Each color is part of the body, but it's far more complex, and I'm not going to get into it. Definitely,
Absolutely.
maybe it would be a different time, but not now.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And we'll ask one more question that relates to that last question before we take a short break. I'm sure that the viewer will wonder, when does the Kala begin in terms of day or night / dawn or dusk? When does the Kala begin?
Okay. Well, I think the way I experience it, working with the color, I've been working with the color for probably 6 years now, maybe, yeah, about 6 years now. I would say from moonrise to moonrise. So as soon as you see the moon, a color starts. Now, the moonrise during the month and during the year has different length and different time in the different part of the world. So you have, sometimes it looks like you got two colors on one day, kind of sort of touching each other or walking. And one thing I have realized myself through walking with it, it's that usually the colors, most colors walking, it seems like they are like pairs. If we walk, the color of the day that will finish to the color of tonight, of the color started last night, last moonrise or last evening, whatever that, will be very similar in characteristic to the color that will start tonight. So the shift is very, very subtle. They'll have slightly different approach to the same sort of phase. And every day it's, and then the one that will start today will be very similar to the one tomorrow. But the one that tomorrow will be already different from the one yesterday. So it's the shift. It's like a cycle. It's kind of you need to experience it, and that's why the work is like, you start. If you take my work that I did in the book, you start with the 4 phases, and then you start every day with a different color. Now, the book doesn't teach you all the colors, doesn't talk, because there was too much to say, but there's I talk about the one that I found myself walking with the color. Somehow you end up walking every month, every cycle with similar colors. So I think it might be, maybe each person will find its own colors. It's probably the one that you're most related to. So I found that I relate, and every time I've decided to, something happened, I've checked which color it is, and I realized, oh God, it's the same one again. We're at the same time. It's the month. But walking with the moon cycle and with the colors, it's very personal journey. For both men and women, you need to really follow, but it does fine tune yourself to all subtleties that are in nature, in the elements, in the sky. It's very got all confused now. So It's a
It's
journey,
complicated.
basically.
This fractal fairy consciousness of the moon that is changing with the almost like the ticking of a clock, its personality, but subtly.
I
This
wouldn't say
is
circle. I would say I would look at it more like a spiral. You're going
spiral.
around and around and around, and each cycle you're going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. So it's more like a spiral that you repeat the same cycle every month, every year, every month again. But every month every month you encounter the same colors, but you see a different thing. You see something new. You understand something else. So it's a very, very deep journey that will take a lifetime, maybe more than a lifetime to understand them all. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can relate to in my case, two particular colors making themselves known more than once. And yeah, so that resonated with me as you said that. Obviously, my very, very short experience with the system. Okay, we'll take a little break now, and obviously, where are we at the moment? Let me double check where we are. Yeah, we're halfway through the questions, so we'll take a short break and carry on from there.
In the second part of the book, I deal with the 8 witches' Sabbaths of the ritual year and how they resonate with the 8 magics and the corresponding colours and scented essences. According to Peter Carroll's Liber Chaos, our perceptual and conceptual apparatus creates a fourfold division of matter into the space, time, mass, and energy tautology. Similarly, our instinctual drives create an 8-fold division of magic. The 8 forms of magic are conveniently denoted by colours having emotional significance.
And we are back for question 6. Could you please explain the aforementioned witches' Sabbaths of the ritual year, the 8 magics, and their corresponding colours, and briefly their essences in brackets sense? Now, I know that's a bit of a sort of triple question, so if we just start with the witches' Sabbaths, just a brief introduction.
Okay, the what we call the pagan year or the witches' year is often referred to as a wheel of the year. Is divided to 8 Sabbaths, which the Sabbaths are corresponding with astronomical and the season, astronomical changes and the seasons. Again, we go 4. I like to use the word cardinal, but there's the 4 main Sabbats, which are the 2 equinoxes and the 2 solstices, winter and summer solstices, and the spring and fall equinoxes. Now, in between each of the main Sabbats, there's another Sabbat, and each one, all of the 8, it's transition of the shift of, usually we can tell them by the change of the weather. Usually each Sabbath is about every 6 weeks, and you can actually see the difference in the weather. And I think they are based on agriculture, the ancient cultures. So looked up for this shift in seasons in the weather, because not all of them are seasons, but there'll be shift in the weather to see what to plant, where to go if there were nomads, and stuff like that. So that's so to mark each shift, we have a Sabbath, like a holiday. So it's like a generic holiday for the whole, I suppose, the whole of the ancient world. sort of follow this Sabbath, the transition of the year of the when it started. What was the 8 magics are based on the Peter Carroll's system, which says that each of the Sabbath can be related to a color, which symbolizing can relate to our emotional and psychological state. So the colors are for the 8 of the Sabbath is the winter solstice will be the octrain color, which octrain is the color of Magick, which could be I think some people would say it's purpley, but I believe that octrain, the color of Magick is personal, and each one experience it differently. Whatever happen when you get to this gnosis of Magick and you see the colors, it will be the color for you for octrain.
Yeah, so, I have to interrupt you. I'm sorry, because there's something that's so interesting about this octarine, which is the color of the octarine Sabbath, with the winter solstice period. This is actually in description exactly the same as what Franz Bardon calls the Akasha. Of course, Franz Bardon got the word Akasha from the the Hindu system or whatever that he was looking at. I think that will probably cause a few people to sort of stop and think for a moment watching the. Hang on. So we have Baphomet in association with this color, this experience that is Akashic. And obviously, the juxtaposition of those two systems, I think that will definitely cause people to stop and think. But please carry on.
Baphomet is my own personal interpretation to this color. It's not. I'm sure lots of people will following the same interpretation, but it will not. It's not a fixed thing. It's my own personal. And people who follow similar paths that I am will probably see the same as me. But it's not something that I would say it's the main thing. It is, Baphomet is a very main thing, but on my path, it's not necessarily. It's not necessarily everybody's path. So, but back to octrain, the color of Magick octrain. Like in most systems, especially magical systems, you'll find that there's so many systems, there's so many names, and but they're all saying very similar things and very, coming to very similar conclusion. Just exercise them and execute them differently, basically. So that's my.
Absolutely. So that is the start. Of course, we know that there doesn't need to be a start, because, say, for instance, today we're starting with Samhain, Halloween, which is the black magic. It is. Would you consider?
It's the wheel of the year. You can start wherever.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of cultures kind of see the winter solstice as the beginning of the year, because it's the birth of the sun from its lowest point, on solstice. So, of course, we have winter solstice, and then one of the quarter points is Imbolc, spring equinox, obviously in the name, equinox. So Imbolc green, spring equinox orange, Beltane purple, summer solstice yellow, Lammas red, autumn equinox blue, and that brings us back to where we are at the moment again, Samhain black. Is that the correct pronunciation? Samhain? Is that close? It'll do.
I'd like to know somebody. I never met somebody who's 100% sure how to pronounce it, but I don't know. Yeah. Samhain. So I don't know.
So, are there any particular scents that jump out as being, worth mentioning in terms of those Sabbaths?
Well, the sense that's related to its Sabbath that I made are more like a blend, like what I call perfume oils. So there are blends of scent. There's no particular one set to it. So I made a perfume dedicated to each Sabbath. And basically each in the book, each Sabbath is a chapter. The whole chapter tell you about each of the scents that make the blend. So I don't remember at the top of my head now, everyone, but
Oh, of course.
so
I mean, it's all in the book anyway.
no,
If anyone, yeah.
And again, as far as I know, this is like unique first time kind of a job to assign scent to a Sabbath. I'm not saying other people did it, but I'd never heard before. I think as far as I know, probably coined and did it experiment with this first time, actually made a perfume to each Sabbath. So I will talk about the essence, the scent, the aroma, let's call it, the perfume of the Black Sabbath later on. But it's not a particular scent. Well, it is. It's an aroma, but it's a perfume. It's a group of scent that I put together, blend together with it, and that each scent bring its own kind of quality to the perfume, to the end product at the end, which is the perfume of each particular Sabbath I made. Perfume. So.
Okay, then. Unless there's anything else you want to add on the Sabbaths and the 8 Magics, I'll introduce your pre-recorded discussion.
Well,
talk rather.
I will talk extensively about the Black Sabbath in the presentation, so I think we'll leave it here for this, and then.
The ancient Celts believed that on this special night, the divide between those alive and those who had passed away temporarily disappeared, and the spirits of deceased ancestors could make contact.
Okay, presentation, that's the word I was looking for. So, October brings with it change. Autumn has arrived, and the harvest is behind us. We currently find ourselves in the Sabbath of Black Magick, the darker half, a period halfway between the autumnal equinox and winter solstice on Halloween, also known as Samhain. I will now insert Diti's pre-recorded presentation on Black Magick. The interview will continue after the recording.
Hi, I'm Diti Morgan, and today I'm going to talk about Black Magick. The 8 witches Sabbath of the ritual year are deeply connected with the 8 magics, each represented by a distinct color and a scent. My inspiration working with the scent of the 8 magic come from Peter Carroll's Liber Chaos. We can understand how our perception and understanding of the world naturally divide matter into 4 basic components, which is space, time, mass, and energy. Similarly, our instinctual drive divided magic into 8 distinct forms. Each of those forms each of this magic, if you like, is represented by a color and a scent, which represent and every color is holding a deep emotional significance to us. In the Aromagick system, the color black represents the 8 magic, which is closing the cycle of the year that has passed and opening the door for the new year ahead of us. The color black is unique. It is formed by absorbing all of the light wavelengths and visually represent what we cannot perceive, what is not visible for us, for the eyes. While black is often associated with death, mourning, and darkness, it also carries a powerful meaning of wealth, restraint, elegance, power, and mystery. Because the color black absorbs all colors, it is potent symbol. It becomes a potent symbol of protection, uncrossing, and warding off negative energies. Black is not just the absence of color, but it is embodying the unknown, the subconscious, and all limitless potential that everything that could be. If we think this way, this is holding the power of transformation and new black. The black color is holding within its mystery the power of transformation and new beginning. Samhain, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure at all, so apologize if I mispronounce it. Is the ancient Celtic festival that was celebrated and still on October 31st. And it marks the end of the harvest season and the beginning of the winter. Many of the customs associated with Halloween today are deeply rooted in this tradition. During Samhain, it was believed that the boundaries between the physical world and the spirit world are very, very thin, and which allow the spirit to cross over. Samhain also marked the start of the black magic season, which is a powerful time to connect with and honor our ancestors. While it can be challenging to some of us to connect to the direct lineage, we can broaden the concept of ancestral and include in it everything and anything that come before us. So if you're not connected to your own personal bloodline lineage or your ancestral, or maybe you don't know who your ancestors are, anything that you connect with, the history behind it could be your own ancestral work or lineage. Samhain also mark the start of the black magic season, which is a powerful time to connect with and honor our ancestors. While it can be challenging for some of us to feel connected or connection with the direct lineage, we can broaden the concept of ancestors to include all who came before us. So on this night, the October 31st, Samhain, Halloween, Black Magic Sabbath, whatever you want to call it, regardless to your bloodline or tradition, we take the time to honor the past with respect and acknowledge the history that shaped us. Black magic offered the perfect opportunity for this deep reflection and reverence. The black magic season can feel very intense, but within it lies the potential to profound self-reflection and spiritual growth. It invites us to confront hidden fears, release burden from our past, and embrace our personal transformation. Many can experience this season as a time of healing, for shadow work, and time to welcome the change. Like the change is the season, it's the beginning of the winter, it's getting darker and colder, the nights are longer, so the change is already set. So it's time for us to allow the change to happen, to give it the last final push to actually make it happen. It also reminds us that we can build a new foundation for something more aligned with our true path by breaking down the old. Solvet kagula, it's an alchemical phrase meaning dissolve and coagulate. It offers us an insight into the life cycles of destruction and renewal. This concept is reflected in the myth of Osiris, the Egyptian god of resurrection. Osiris' story begins when his brother Set kills him and scatters his body across Egypt. This is symbolized the breaking apart of life and order. This state of chaos shows us that what we call solve, the act of breaking down. It's the solve of the Solvet kagula. However, from this disorder comes a powerful message of renewal. Osiris' wife Isis, with her great love and determination, collected all his scattered pieces and bring him back together and back to life. This is the kagula, the act of restoring unity from chaos. So the chaos of dismemberment and death, we can find the path of reunite and growth again and life. Through Isis' efforts, Osiris is reborn as the god of the underworld and the afterlife, showing us that from destruction can come new life. To help us to connect with our ancestors and explore the mysteries of the underworld, I made a perfume blend oil that I named Osiris's Dream, and I'm going to speak about the oils I choose for this particular blend. Let's start with vetiver. Vetiver is essential oil which connects us to the earth, and the earth is part of our ancestral fabric. Vetiver is a fragrant grass from South India, which grows in South India, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka. Its essential oil ranges from the color of essential oil ranges from dark brown to amber, and it has distinctive scent. It's kind of smoky, sweet, very earthy, like the smell of the earth itself. I still remember the very first time I smelled vetiver. Its deep, earthy aroma immediately pulled me in, make me feel like I've been drawn back drawn down into the earth, into a very, very dark, earthy cave or vortex or tunnel, and where a place where time and space was all distorted, and I could see roots. I could feel the roots wrapping them around my legs and arms and body and almost consuming me. This is just from the scent. But then, when the scent settled, it felt like I'm inside the heart, the core of the earth itself. I felt connected to the earth. I felt restored. I felt grounded. and very, very stable. It was very powerful experience through scent that could send you immediately to this kind of like into the earth, into a kind of an earth journey. You probably guessed that vetiver is one of my favorite oil, but yeah, and I use it quite a lot, and in anything I can, I'll put at least a drop in it. So vetiver is one. It's a very important ingredient in this particular blend of perfume oil. The next aroma is labdanum, which is probably one of the earliest aromatic substances used in pharmacology and perfumery. The ancient Egyptian used it in many of the perfume recipes and medical recipes. Labdanum is a small fragrant shrub originating in the Mediterranean and the Middle Eastern regions. The plant produces a dark brown gum-like sticky substance, resinoid substance that has a rich, very sweet, balsamic, vanilla-like aroma. The gum was used to relieve symptom of catarrh, cough, and bronchitis. The therapeutic elements of the gum, together with a warm, sweet, slightly musty fragrance, invoke within us the seeds of spiritual devotion. The sweetness allows us to feel to surrender to the beauty of the smell, of the scent. It gives us open us for prayer, and at the same time it allows us to breathe deeply and clearly and calmly, which enhance a deep meditation and reflective mood. So this is our main oils, the vetiver, which is very grounded, which is very earthy but sweet, and the labdanum that is still kind of very balsamic, vanilla, sweet, kind of musty. And both of them, you feel grounded, but still you feel grounded to surrender to the spiritual journey that's gonna come ahead. I'll give it a little summaries for the other oils that in the blend. And the next one is galbanum. The potent aroma of galbanum encourages dream-filled sleep. It's evoking memories. Memories of when you smell it, it smells like decayed timber and freshly unearthed roots. It's something like being underground in the. If any of you have been inside the pyramids, this similar smell of being underground, very musky and musty but greeny at the same time. Smell of deep tunnels and caves and mud maybe, but very green, of not fresh green, but like muddy kind of green, if you like. Galbanum potent aroma brings our minds back to our physical self and make us conscious that we need to pass through death, pass through the abyss, if you like, to reach transformation. We have to go through the mud, through the heavy duty of life, the stuff that comes up to us. We have to go through it to transform ourselves and come out on the other side new. Galbanum take us into a profound psychic exploration. It gives us lots of insight. It's as I said before, evoking dreams, vivid dreams. It acts, the essential oil of galbanum acts like it's like a gate. The galbanum is our gate opener. Its smell is so distinctive, so pungent, and so potent. It acts like a psychopomp, if you like. It sends sort of teleport us immediately into the musty darkness of the core of the earth. Immediately it takes us into the deep dark of wherever. Which brings us to clary sage. Clary sage has got another sort of sweet, balsamic, nutty, herbish scent. As like its name suggests, clary suggests clarity, clear thinking, clear vision. And this specific oil add to the blend the clarity of communication. So we got vetiver, which give us the ground, stabling us. We got laudanum, the evoking in us the sense of surrendering to whatever happened. We got galbanum that drag us through the darkness. And we got clary sage that give us sight, give us clear vision, clear insight, giving us the tools to see ahead. And then I added elemi, which is elemi. The sense of elemi resemble very much frankincense, but it's much lighter. It's much finer, not as heavy, and its spicy aroma give us a deeper insight. It gives us it's very similar in a characteristic to frankincense as well, but it gives us an extra edge to it. The spiritualness can become a bit more trippy, psychedelic-like experience. Now, when I say psychedelics, it's very, very, very subtle. It probably will end up in some kind of psychedelic type dreams, or give you an insight that is like thinking outside the box, something that is completely unusual for you. It will not give you a blown up trip of LSD or anything like that. So psychedelic is things happening in our brain, does not necessarily can give us insight in a certain way. Think outside the box, basically. So each of these essential oils I just mentioned, let me repeat again: vetiver, laudanum, galbanum, clary sage, and elemi, has a very unique qualities that can subtly influence our mood. But when blended together, their synergy enhances both potency and effectiveness. In this perfume oil, Osiris Dream, they become a powerful gateway to dreams, helping us access the subconscious and gain insight from beyond the ancestral veil, ultimately aiding us on our journey of transformation. So, the blend itself, the perfume oil I made, can also help us in a dream walk. We do any walk we aim on our subconscious. It will send us, will take us there. But it's perfect for this time, for the Black Magic Sabbath, to connect with the ancestral, because it have this element and it's been made with these particular visions in mind. So for the best result, I recommend to apply a small amount under the nose, like that, behind the ears, under the chin if you like, down the neck, on the wrists, and I also like in the palm of the hand. Why is that? Because, and do it every night before you go to bed. Palm of the head, because when we sleep, we can smell it while we're sleeping. It, for even better result, I suggest to do it for several nights in a row to get the full effect of the oil, how they affect us. You know, I will not be surprised if one time will be enough, because the perfume blend is very, very potent. But for really magical result, to see, to understand, to encounter this subconscious, this insight, I would recommend to use it for few nights in a row. Also, before ritual, especially on Samhain, if you're planning a ritual, a black magic ritual, or whatever ritual you do, I suggest to do it, to put it in any ancestral work you do, any shadow work you do, any underworld work you do, I suggest use it before, because it will enhance the ritual work. It will give you insights while you're doing the ritual work, so that you can use it as an offering to the work as well. But then you have to make a special bottle as an offering, if you like. So the Black Magic Aromagick style is all about transformation, but through ancestral work. We honor the past, we respect our ancestors, whatever if they're blood lineage or not, and we let go, it's time to let go and move forward. So, more details, more information about the oils, the work, about more stories about Black Sabbath, Black Magic, you'll find in my book, Aromagick. I've created a fresh batch of the Black Magic perfume oil, and you can find it on the Mandrake website, which is mandrake.uk.net. So that's it for tonight, for now, and we'll see you in the next Sabbath, which is Octane Sabbath, which is the Octane Magic Sabbath, which will be on the winter solstice. So I see you then.
Okay, and we are back. Question number 7. What is the importance of dreams in this work, and how should we feel about dream visitations from departed loved ones or relatives? Should we encourage this interaction?
I think, I believe the dreams are important in all walks of life. They can help us if we listen to them, and if we know how to read them and to interpret them. It can really, really help us move forward, understand what's going on, and sometimes even get prepared. Which takes me back to working with essential oils. Part of the subtleties that they teach you, and the colors as well, which are, for me, it's like one big mixture of practices. It's like became one part practice. They teach you to understand and how and learn to read the symbols that the dreams tells you. Sometimes you get in dreams. About visitations of the departed, I don't think there's a should and shouldn't how to do it. It's a very personal thing. Everybody will deal with it the way they understand. What I'll say that if it's a visitation of a loved one, family, or somebody that you know personally come to you in your dream, I would say with spontaneously, you didn't summon them or whatever. I would say in the dream, if you can, listen carefully and note all the symbols, all the signs that you get, because they might come, present themselves to you in the dream to say something, to convey you a message, to, I don't know, to teach you something. So it's very important that if something like you dreamt about, I don't know, your grandparents, I don't know, somebody, but on a personal level that could think about it, could be not somebody, anybody that you have that comes, but that he's there and come to you. I would say listen very carefully to what they say. Now, if you do, if you want to try to summon visitation through dreams walk, I would say you need to be prepared. First, ask yourself, why do you want to do it? Why do you want to call them? And what are you going to ask? And do you really need to? So be prepared for anything, because when you summon something and you're not prepared, you usually sign on to something that you're not necessarily asked for. So I would say be prepared. But as I said as I started, there's no should or shouldn't. Just the way you feel about it. Just be cautious and be prepared. That's all. I would personally, I would not necessarily summon someone in my dream. I would, if they choose to visit me, I will carefully listen to what they said, but
Something comes to mind. Isn't the Egyptians said, if the dead come to you and you haven't asked them, that's a bad omen. I'm sure I've read this in one of Mog's books. But I do have a story actually, and
but that's omens are cultural, and if you choose to believe so.
Yeah, definitely. And I only feel this. I'm going to keep this very short, but I only feel compelled to share this because I had a dream the other night where someone asked me about this subject. What happened? What happened? So I see that as a kind of sign that I should tell this story on this interview. And that is someone from my past. We had a very bad falling out, and they got very ill, and they died. And I saw them in a dream, and they said, "No cooking in bed." And this was years ago, right? For years, I thought, what does that mean, no cooking in bed? I mean, it's just bizarre. And I had 4 or 5 different interpretations that didn't make any sense until I ended up living in a van, and it makes perfect sense. Do not put your gas cooker on and lie down in the bunk, ever. Yeah?
Yeah.
Think about how beautiful that is. And then this person came back again, and they were angry, really angry. And it wasn't until I just sort of, in a quiet moment, said, "I'm really sorry about our falling out. I'm sorry about those harsh words that I used. I wish you peace, and hopefully we can, get on now." And they didn't come back after that. So that's my story that I think was important to share, but because of the dream that asked me about that story just a few days ago. So
sometimes visitations are for closure. Definitely they come to some kind, especially if somebody died and many people, a close person died to them, they find it very difficult to move on, even if they do moving on. It can take years on a very, very personal level that nobody knows except themselves, that they're not really moved on. And then one day you have this dream. And then whatever happened in the dream, usually, if the visitation, if the dead person's not appearing anymore, there's a closure. They moved on and you moved on. Definitely you have to move on now because they're not coming back. So they're not coming back literally, they did. So anything to do with you can put it into ancestral work or I don't know what this kind of work, forgot the word, forgot the word. Anyway, for walking with the dead or whatever, I would be very cautious and I will be prepared a lot. It's not a game.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course, in this interview, we like to have a sort of comfortable, little bit of brevity. It helps conversation, but it shouldn't detract from the seriousness of the subjects that we talk about, and especially concerning the dead. It's heavy stuff, definitely. And
respect, always respect.
Yeah.
Always be respectful, whatever you do.
Definitely. And okay, I mentioned Mog just a few moments ago, so that ties in with question 8. Your husband's work has brought to my attention how we weird folk often seem to come face to face with a doorway of sorts, either symbolic, real, or both. Can the system you have put together be seen as a doorway also?
What do you think?
Yes.
There you go. Well, I'll say that every system is a door. It might not be the door for you, but it's a door. Now, some system, not every system that we will ever get a chance to walk them or even open the door, and some that even are presented to us and we can do it, it's not the right thing for us to do. So we're not going to go there and open the door. It's just the same as in life. Like some doors will never open to us. You go walk down the street. How many doors do you see? Tons. The only door that will open to you is the people that know you or want to let you in, or your own door. So, or the one you break in, or they are promoting. But some doors will never open for us, and some doors will stay hidden all the time. But every system is a door. But we have to understand that sometimes not every door is the right door for us. And, sometimes we open the door and we regret. Sometimes it's very important to close the doors behind us. It's definitely a door for something.
Absolutely, yeah. Every system is a doorway. Okay.
Somebody in the door, so I'm talking about the door, so I need to get.
Yeah, go for it. Shall I stop the recording?
Yeah.
As someone is knocking upon the door. Okay, every system is a doorway, and Diti had to get up and answer the door there. So there you go.
The Setian myth is established on the sacred triad Ra, Set, and Apophis. None could exist without the others. It is the battle dance of creation. One dies, another must kill, and one must shine.
Right. Question 9.
Solve coagula.
Black magic's chaotic matrix of transformation, but what of this demonic initiation you describe? Can you recount to us your interpretation of the Osiris death and rebirth myth, which features our friend Set and a life-giving sacred phallus? This is actually my favorite part of the book. Really got me thinking.
Okay. The Osiris story begins with his brother Set that basically kills him, and this man dismembered his body and they scatter it all over Egypt, and the phallus he dropped in, and Osiris phallus Set dropped into the Nile, which is solvent coagula. Bring me back to solvent coagula. Solvent coagula is mean dissolve and coagulate. So it's basically the embodiment of transformation. So when Set dismembered Osiris to many pieces and scatter his body, is this the dissolution of chaos? It's everything is dismembered, and this is the soul part of the solvent coagula. The magic of this, the story goes on that Isis, she goes every night, she collects all the body parts and magically put it together and resurrect Osiris. That's the resurrection and the coagulation bit of it. And by putting the phallus, there's quite a few variation of the story. So one of the variation is that she put the phallus back, and that's how she conceived. She became. She got a horse. But one of the stories that I choose, what got me into the stories is the bit of the phallus in the Nile. That caught my attention and made me speculate and have a little theory of my own. I don't know. So the Nile is the bloodlife of Egypt. It gives water to the people. It nourishes the earth. The water of the Nile is the essence of Egyptian life. So the phallus is one of the most powerful symbols of fertility, regeneration, and life-giving. So by dropping the phallus into the Nile, most people will think Set, the evil one, the demon one, but is actually doing something that people don't seem to think. He dropped the phallus into the Nile, not the nose, not the toes, the phallus, yeah? So it basically, by the act of the phallus in the Nile, it feeds the Nile. It gives the Nile more the life essence, the regenerative kind of organs, the one that brings life to life, which the Nile itself is the life of Fiji. So by doing this, it's kind of it's maintaining the balance of the cosmic balance of the thing. There's of the Egyptian kind of ritual kind of story. There's a death, there's a murder, there's a killing, there's dismemberment, there's this, they're all horrible, but it's not really, because the phallus is in the Nile. Now, the story goes on the three. There's Ra is the sort of the grandfather of both Osiris and Set, and together they form a triad. Triad is the holy trinity that Egyptians have many of them, and they sort of caught in this kind of magical ritual cycle of ritual killing, but it's sacrifice to keep Ra alive. Ra is the sun. To keep Ra alive means that he needs to shine every morning. He needs to come up. Set need to kill Osiris. Set basically sacrificed himself, as he's been banished from everything in Egyptian life and royalty and everything. He's the hated one. He's the demon. By killing Osiris. Osiris sacrificed himself by being killed by his brother. But the phallus in the Nile is what give the life back to the whole story, because it brings everything back to life and the cycle carry on. There's some of the texts in the Amduat, which describe the journey of Raj during the underworld, through the underworld. Some of the story says that the Osiris phallus is what actually regenerate him and brought him back to life, which means he could carry on rise in the morning dawn. It's the same and it takes us back to the story of Set, the demon. If he's the one who have to tackle the ancient monster Apophis to make to get Ra to rise again in the morning. Without him doing so, there will be no mornings. So this kind of what we think of a really evil story, it's a fixed sort of cycle that has to happen if we want the sun carry on shining every day. Now, so far, so good. Every morning we got the sun. So there's very big kind of story involved here that is like all this ritual killing, ritual dismemberment, ritual banishment. Basically, it's the essence of life. We cannot live without being, we only know that we're alive when we're dead, or this the only thing that is certain in life really is death. We're all gonna die one day. God, I'm being a bit too doom, so better stop. so yeah, but it's a cycle. It looks like it's very simplistic. It's on a level. It looks like a terrible story of two brothers. One is really evil that killed his brother because he was envy. He was jealous. He wants to be the king himself. But if you really break it down, and you think and you learn about all the symbols behind the stories, and I'm stopping only at the phallus here, it's not really. It's a story of regeneration. It's a story of the cycle of life.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's it.
So Set has to do the evil deed and take upon him the label of criminal. Osiris has to die. That's his sacrifice in order that the life can be given to the Nile and the sun can rise. This is just a way of coping with reality in a way, isn't it? But do you think there might be, of course, myths are multifaceted. There may be some kind of story or maybe it's pointing towards reincarnation as well, or something to do with the soul. I forgot as well, Set spearing Apophis, Apep, on the boat of Ra. So we have two cases of Set doing a necessary, evil, a heroic deed, actually. So, but do you think there might be some kind of message in terms of the transmigration of the soul there as well?
I think the the killing of Osiris, it's what actually gained him the title, the king of the underworld. He resurrected. He is it's a very magical story that he's killed his woman, his wife, the queen, the Isis. She's magically resurrected him. So everything is about resurrection. So he's the king of the underworld. I don't know. I'm not sure about the soul bit, but and how. I don't want to go into it. Because, didn't think about it. Don't want to say things about it. Didn't think much about it. But
Sure.
it's definitely about transformation, how things are transformed, and I suppose soul is part of transformation as well. But it's resurrection. It's all a whole story is about transformation. How the chaos, through chaos, we can actually resurrect something or make something through transformation that can be very painful. Something can happen and shine like the sun again and again.
And also only possible through the love of Isis, her heroic journey to recover her husband's body parts. Okay, I think I'll leave you alone now on that question. And that will bring us to the last question. It's not really a question. It's simply, I'll put an image up on the screen of your book, Aromagick. Where can one best purchase it? And are there any other products or websites you would like to make the viewer aware of?
Well, I think the easiest way for people to get the book is on Amazon. It's there on Amazon UK or Amazon.com. Or you can get it directly from us from mandrake.uk.net. There's you got the Morgan, which is blog. I forgot the URL. I can send you a link to it and you can put it on Twitter. I don't remember the.
Yeah, I'll put links up on the bottom of the screen and also in the the information box as well.
So you got this basically. So the Morgan, which is I think it's morganwitching.com. This is our blog. Mandrake.uk.net, and the book in Amazon. Basically, it's the easiest way to just there. It's on ebook as well.
Okay, and of course, not forgetting your range of oils, which are exquisitely packaged. They
directly for me. There you can get them on the through the Magick website. The oils are done by batches. So, for instance, the next one at the moment there's no black magic oil. The next one will be ready just before the black. In the next week or so. So I'll make one fresh just before every Sabbath. There's few others oils that are there all the time, but but the Sabbath are usually prepared just before, so they'll be like freshly done before.
Okay. So bearing in mind this video will go up on Halloween. The oils should be ready then. And
ready before, but this day today, it's on the making. It's not ready quite. It'll be ready just before. It's a process to make an oil. It's a process of certain rituals as well, and.
You can enter the Aromagick voyage at any time during the lunar cycle. Each Kala serves as a portal or key to access the power of that special day. This alignment with corresponding lunar energies is more effortless when experienced during the 4 cardinal Kalas, which are Kamesvari, new moon, Duti Tavrita, first quarter, Amrita Kali, full moon, Ugiya Ugraprabha, last quarter.
Wonderful. Okay, well, that just leaves to say thank you, Diti Morgan. It's been interesting and very enjoyable. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
Thank you. See you soon.
See you soon. Take care.
The Morgans are keepers of calendars and so much more. Please do check out the interviews and conversations playlist on the channel for more videos like this one. Take care.